And the music didn't kick on. Whatever. We're live, ladies and gentlemen. Sports Talk Live, episode 5. We need a better name. We'll figure it out one day. If you have any suggestions, please let me know. WeSportsTalkLIVE is what we're sitting at right now. Today on the show, we're going to be talking draft needs for each NFL team and some NHL playoffs. I'm going to throw in a little baseball in at the end. Don't forget, subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm going to plug it every week until you do. Follow the SoundCloud channel so you don't have to see our faces. You can just listen to us. Today we have myself, Justin Peck, on the show. I'll be talking about the AFC East and the AFC West. We have Jay Gibbs on. He'll be talking about the NFC North and the NFC South and some NHL. John Eball joins us, AFC North and NFC West discussion. Kurt Smith with the NFC East, and Armani Gracia with the AFC North.
South.
Just kidding, AFC South. All right, I'm going to start out with Jay Gibbs with the NFC North and needs for each team.
All right, thanks, Justin. NFC North this year, going into the draft, you have two strong teams. Of course, I'm talking about the Green Bay Packers and the Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota proved last season that under the right circumstances, they have the capability to win the division. The homer in me wants to say it's only because Green Bay was missing their number one wide receiver, but the reality of the thing is Minnesota's been making some strong moves in the last couple seasons. They're still centered around Adrian Peterson, who's getting up there in age. However, they are also making strides as far as quarterback, wide receiver. The defense is really stout. The defense is really carrying them. Part of keeping Adrian Peterson healthy and around to win games for them is by giving him lots of rest. That defense stand, keeping people busy defensively. Up and coming are the Chicago Bears. They've almost got it figured out, almost every year. There are always a couple of pieces missing. I think if they're in a different division, they could be competitive, but unfortunately, they're stuck with two fairly good teams. And then you have the Lions, who they had that brief glimmer in the sun where they were relevant for like 4 seasons, but with Calvin Johnson retiring, I see a couple of years of rebuilding again. So with that, going into the draft for the NFC North, we'll start at the bottom, work our way up. We do have the Bears picking at number 11 this year. First and foremost, I think it is time for the Bears to start getting some pressure back on defense, getting some of those monsters of the midway back. That's why I have, and a lot of people I'm seeing, if the Giants don't take him at number 10, you can see Shaq Lawson going to the Bears, defensive end outside linebacker. But the point is, somebody, if it's not Shaq, it's probably going to be an edge rusher or an outside linebacker. What they need is some presence back to put pressure on opposing quarterbacks, especially in the division, if they want any success. For as much as everybody, myself included, hates on Jay Cutler, when he's good, he'll lead you through some games, as they've proven. He's not truly the problem until he gets inside his own head. Losing Matt Forte this year, losing Brandon Marshall a couple years ago, you could see them in the second and third rounds trying to upgrade maybe the wide receiver position, but I think the big focus for the Bears is going to be the defense. So expect them to make a lot of moves there for the D. Couple picks down from there. At number 16, you have the Lions. I've seen a couple of different theories out there for the Lions. I've been looking around. You see a lot of people talking about defense, taking a cornerback. I've heard Mackenzie Alexander. I've heard Eli Apple. Both solid options. Me personally, I just have a feeling the Ford family still runs the Lions. Now that they've lost Calvin Johnson, I can see them panicking and that they need a wide receiver, so they may end up burning that first-round pick on somebody like Laquan Treadwell or maybe Doxson, or I think I'm saying his name right, out of TCU. Somebody who's going to garner some headlines, that flashy number one receiver again. Golden Tate needs some help, as far as somebody else for Matt Stafford to throw to. But my personal thoughts are they take a wide receiver, but I guess the common knowledge and the group consensus from a lot of analysts is that they're going to look to upgrade their secondary again to stay competitive in the division. They're hoping that Matt Stafford's arm with Golden Tate is enough to keep them in games, and then let the defense try to stop the other team. Maybe not get into shootouts, but let them shut down those quarterbacks. Moving farther down the line, all the way down, number 23, we have the Minnesota Vikings, who again are looking to take that next big step to continue to show everybody they can be contenders. Again, now this time we're moving to the other side of the ball. Offense has been the key for the Minnesota Vikings. Their defense has been stout. They've done a really good job drafting the last couple of years and making good moves defensively. I've seen a couple things where they are maybe looking to take a wide receiver. I've heard Corey Coleman's name, Will Fuller, both wide receivers. I could also see them spending a pick, maybe upgrading the offensive line, protecting Bridgewater. With the way that Bridgewater throws, you need to develop, give him time to let the routes open up. So I think maybe Decker out of Ohio State looks like a good move out at tackle. Shift around that offensive line, give Adrian Peterson some more room to work, and again, give Bridgewater the protection. But again, they are a little shallow at wide receiver, so you could see somebody like Fuller or Corey Coleman getting drafted by them. But it will be that is probably the most confident I am in anybody in the NFC North in where they're picking. You will see the Vikings focusing on offense this year. And then last we have the Green Bay Packers. Green Bay picks at number 27 this year. And their major need, people are talking about offensive line. We shuffled through a lot of injuries. But I think their big need and the big thing that they're going to have to get to is defense. Losing B.J. Raji to his hiatus, call it what you want. I think it's just a fancy word for retirement until he tries to come back in a year or two and realizes that taking a year or two off in the NFL doesn't work. So look for them to maybe take a run-stopping defensive tackle. My personal hope is that they take a commanding inside linebacker so we can move Clay Matthews back to his natural position at the outside. No matter who they pick, they need a week one starter out of their first-round pick this year. Ted Thompson likes to develop through the draft, but with a pressing need and Aaron Rodgers not getting any younger, there are already questions kind of coming to the surface about his legacy already. This far into his career, only having one Super Bowl appearance, one Super Bowl ring, plenty of opportunities. Blowing opportunities. That's not on him. A lot of it's on the coaching. But surrounded with the right personnel, taking coaching decisions out of the equation by just being up enough, I think that they make a move. They'll probably take an inside defensive lineman. I would like to see them make a move for an inside linebacker. I like Reggie Ragland out of Alabama. I doubt he'll fall that far because Oakland will probably take him or somebody else who needs that defensive help. Green Bay is not known for moving up in the draft unless it's an absolute need. And because there are so many quality defensive linemen to choose from, I think we just take the best interior lineman left at that number 27 pick.
All right, that's been a wrap-up of the NFC North from Jay Gibbs. Always good insight from you, Jay.
Thanks.
Seems like you know the division inside and out. Let's kick it over to Coming over to Johnny Eball talking about the AFC North division that he knows pretty damn well.
Yeah, AFC North, I mean, it's pretty much last year was kind of 50-50. It was obviously Steelers and Bengals, or Bengals Steelers, I should say. You know, Bengals won it. Steelers, Ravens really fell off. Browns, they're Browns. I mean, come on now. Over the offseason though, Browns, they got the number two pick this year. It's They had a lot of free agent moves. I mean, they lost half their entire team. They lost Alex Mack, probably the best center in the game. Carlos Dansby, Craig Robinson, Travis Benjamin, all leaving Cleveland. They signed Robert Griffin, so they have a quarterback, but who does he have to hand the ball to? Who does he have to throw the ball to? So I'm thinking, if their number two pick, they got to go a wide receiver. So I have them take a Will Fuller. I think he's good. I mean, he showed promise in college. He's out of Notre Dame. I think he could do it. And obviously their biggest need was quarterback, but I don't know if they're going to take. They already have Griffin. Do they really want to take another quarterback and spend that money on a quarterback, or do they want another possible quote unquote franchise offensive player that they can maybe build around or hold on to? In the second round, though, obviously their other need is offensive line. They lost Alex Mack. They need a center. That far in the draft, there's not too many good centers. I'd say I have Ryan Kelly from Alabama going to them just in the second round. He's probably, I think, the number three center they have listed, but depending on how much other offensive linemen come in and out, I just don't think. I don't know. I think he's probably the best fit for him, just because. I mean, he's Alabama. They breed offensive linemen crazy down there. Going to the next pick, we got the Ravens picking, let's see, sixth. Big year for them. I mean, they did not exceed expectations at all. Really underperformed. I have their needs to be offensive line and cornerback. Offensive line, I have them take in Ronnie Staley from Notre Dame. Another Notre Dame, they just breed college football players. I have Ronnie Staley going to them, and second round I got Artie Burns from Miami, their cornerback, going to the Ravens as well. They need help back there. They signed Eric Weddle. Eric Weddle's old. He's undersized. He's not. I mean, people would want him to go to the Steelers. I didn't care for him. He hasn't proved a lot to me. He undersized. Just people compared him when Palomalu was in the league. People compared Weddle and Palomalu, and I didn't see it. Palomalu just played with just guns blazing the entire time. Weddle just runs. That's all he does. Next, we got the Steelers picking 25th. I'm sorry, the Bengals picking 24th. They need a nose tackle and a linebacker. Kenny Clark from UCLA is probably the second nose tackle rated in the draft. I got him falling down to the Bengals. And for the second round, I got Jordan Jenkins from Georgia, their linebacker, heading to the Bengals. Now, the team I follow, the Steelers, number one need, defensive backs. I mean, that's pretty obvious. You saw all year, every game we lost was by the defensive backs just shit in the bed. It was just every single time. My homer pick, I really, really want Eli Apple to fall to 25. That's not going to happen, though. If it does, I will geek out. But I have William Jackson from Houston. Everything I've seen, I've looked him up the last couple days. I like how he plays. He fits in the scheme for Pittsburgh. I feel like he could fit in on the opposite side of William Gay and perform from day one. Second round, obviously still big need for us Steelers offensive line every year. Every year the offensive line gets torched, someone gets hurt, someone goes down. I mean, we missed Pouncey almost the entire year again. Well, it was the entire year. He got injured preseason. I have Joshua Garnett from Stanford going to us, falling 58th pick. Stanford again, offensive lineman. It's these colleges that just keep performing offensive linemen. Just gonna keep building them. I'll take him on the Steelers. Like I said, Eli Apple, I'll take it. But if not, William Jackson from Houston to Steelers. And other than that, AFC North, it's gonna be another open year between the Bengals and Steelers. Maybe the Ravens come back. Browns probably get pick number one next year.
Yeah, I can definitely see the Ravens getting healthy and coming back, making an impact in the division again. Especially with Harbaugh there, coach. I don't think they stay down for long.
Yeah, I just need they need to protect Flacco. That's their point. They need to protect Flacco so he has time to find the receivers, and that's just what they need.
All right, and from there, we're going to kick it over to the NFC East. Mr. Eagle himself, Kurt Smith.
Yeah, what's up, man? NFC East, everybody knows it was a dumpster fire last year. Nobody really did too well besides Washington coming out on top.
Every year it is.
Yeah, you're right, Armani. You're right. No, let's start off with the Cowboys. I think first and foremost, I think they're going to need a quarterback. Everybody sees that if Tony Romo goes down, they can't perform. They can't do it with a backup. So I don't think that they should pick a quarterback up in the first round with the 4th pick, but I think if somebody like Christian Hackenberg or Dak Prescott or even Jacoby Brissett later on in the rounds, lower rounds, I think they should grab somebody for sure. Defense, I'd like to grab him. Well, I wouldn't like to grab him. The Cowboys probably do. Joey Bosa, defensive end. The Chargers are right before the Cowboys, so if they grab him, the Cowboys are shit out of luck. But that would be a number 1 pick for the Cowboys if they can get him. That's Cowboys. I mean, they also, just a side note, they picked up Cedric Thornton from the Eagles, so that helps out in their defensive line. But they really need to strengthen that part of their game. What do we got? The Giants. Actually, let's go to the Eagles since we're 8th pick. Thanks to Miami. If we could, I want to get Peck. Thank you. I'm betting on Elliott. We got to get him. We need a running back. A lot of people say that you can get a free agent or some guy lower in the draft and just work him. But look what happened to Todd Gurley with the Rams. I mean, I think he's explosive. I think we got to get him if he's available at the number 8 spot. Also, a lot of teams need offensive linemen. So if he's out there, Laramie Tunsil from Ole Miss, that would be somebody I'd pick up as well. But we'll just have to see what's on the table when it comes down, to the 8th pick. Just a lot of variables that can happen. Who else? Eagles. I said a couple weeks ago we wouldn't need a quarterback, but if we can, I've said it many times. Paxton Lynch, if he's available, and someone else snags Elliott, grab him. Sam Bradford's got a 2-year contract, so somebody's going to have to replace him and lead the Eagles to more failures. So we got to grab somebody. The Giants, my best friends. Number 10th pick, first round. The Giants need a receiver. They've got, Laquan Treadwell from Ole Miss. They need somebody to pair up with Odell Beckham. He's pretty much taking the workload on his shoulders, and with Ruben Randall coming over to Philly, they need somebody to put out there and just help the team. See if he's available though. Victor Cruz, he's always injured, so they definitely need a receiver. That would be my first pick for the Giants. Secondary, Shaq Lawson, as Jay mentioned earlier, out of Clemson. They need to have somebody for Jason Pierre-Paul. They got to look to replace him down the road. I mean, he's got a high contract. He's kind of underperforming. He's got 5 sacks last season, so it's somebody they need to think about. It just didn't produce. Who else? Oh, right tackle. Ronnie Stanley from Notre Dame. That would also be an option. That's probably my 3rd pick for them if they could get it in the first round, but we'll just kind of see how things turn out. The Redskins. It's kind of hard for the Redskins. I mean, they won the division last year. There's obviously some holes in the game, but I would give them a receiver. I would look for one in the first round, looking at Michael Thomas if he's available, or even Braxton Miller later on. Deshaun Jackson, he's getting old. Pierre Garcon, he's getting up there. They're almost 30, so they need some youth on the team to, just kind of keep them going for the next few years and let them learn from the veterans as well. But also, If the receiver's not available, then they're going to have to go with the corner. Vernon Hargreaves, it's corner out of Florida. I know Riley would like them, but yeah, corner would be another position that they would have to fill for sure. There's some loops in their game. They gotta take care of that. But that is the NFC East. Those would be my first round picks. I know you guys went to like the second round and stuff. I didn't go that far into it, so those would be my number 1 picks for sure.
All right, and you didn't have anything to get into with the Eagles in the second round anyway. You guys lost that in that Sam Bradford trade last year.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, good point.
It kind of sucks for you guys, but I can see you making a move, maybe getting back into the second round, depending on how the first picks above you pan out.
Right on.
They gave it to the Rams. My bad.
Right, yeah. From there, we're traveling down to the AFC South, and Armani, let's kick it off with the number 1 overall pick in Tennessee.
Yeah, so Tennessee Titans have the number 1 overall pick. They could go with Larry Tunsil out of Ole Miss, or they can trade down and go pick up someone else. But I think the main need right now is offensive tackle, like Tunsil. But they need to protect Mariota. Man, I mean, poor guy got crumbled on last year. And in the division with Watt and Leonard Williams, no, wait, that guy, who did Jacksonville sign? Defensive tackle.
A guy from Denver, Malik Jackson, I want to say.
Malik Jackson, with people like him and Watt in the same division coming after him, that's a scary thing. So we're going to go to the 5th pick now. The Jaguars. I think they should take cornerback here. I think they should go with at least what's his name?
Graves? Apple? And it looks like Armani dropped out. I'm not sure what may have happened there. Jay dropped out. Maybe I'm the problem. Tired of looking at my face. All right, so while he's trying to figure out whatever got crossed up there, we'll kick it down, or up, I should say, to the AFC East. Miami Dolphins picking number 13 after the trade with the Eagles. A lot of needs in Miami. I think we're okay at receiver. Outside of that, we're not okay. Mostly looking at linebackers in the first round for Miami. Reggie Ragland would be great. I know Sean Dennison, guy, whatever his last name is, on Facebook this week, is all about it. If he's gone, I'd be okay with Darren Lee, and I'd also be okay with maybe Jack Conklin from Michigan State, some offensive line help. Basically, round 1 and 2, I want a linebacker in one, and a tackle or guard in the other. One guy that I'm probably higher on than I should be. He's going to miss all year, undoubtedly with injury. I'd welcome Jalen Smith, and probably I'd be better with a 3rd round pick for him. But if everything lines up right, I'd take a shot on him. Why not? We're not going to the Super Bowl anytime soon anyway. From the 13th pick, we go down to the 19th pick for the Buffalo Bills. Main position I'm looking at for them is wide receiver. Let's give Tyrod some help. All right, let's line somebody up outside from Sammy Watkins that isn't Chris Hogan or Robert Woods, or let's get somebody who can be a playmaker out there. Number 1 guys, Treadwell. I think he might be gone. Tyler Boyd would be a good fit. Corey Coleman, all good fits. Outside of that, I'm 100% wide receiver in the first round. Outside of that, for Buffalo, you look at their secondary, could be the best in the league. Ask Jeff. Look at their backfield, could be the best in the league. Ask Jeff. You look at their defensive line, same thing. So from there, I see them going offensive line in the second round. Best player available, whether it be a guard, tackle. The second round guys, usually they're pretty flexible. You can move them around and do what you need to do. Immediately after the Jets pick at number 20, DeBrickashaw Ferguson just retired, guys. that changes things a bit. They were looking maybe an edge rusher, inside linebacker, tight end. Now I think they have to look offensive line. I mean, Rickshaw Ferguson was a very good player for years, and the less you hear about an offensive lineman, the better job he's doing.
He was like a DeBrickashaw wall.
The brick wall, indeed. But yeah, I'm thinking offensive line for them there. Might be looking at Whitehair. I think Conklin will be gone. Pretty confident to say Whitehair's the pick there. If they don't go offensive line, I could see them possibly picking up a tight end. Can't tell you the last time they had a tight end that scared anyone. So I think that would be a good fill for them. From there we go to the Patriots, who don't have a first-round pick, but they were found innocent in Deflategate. Go figure. So I'm going to throw 4 names out there, just stabs in the dark for what they do in the second round. They have the 60th and 61st pick in the second round. And the names I'm throwing out there: Alex McAllister, defensive end or linebacker from Florida; Kenneth Dixon, running back from Louisiana Tech; Braxton Miller, a wide receiver; or Jalen Smith, if nobody has the balls to take him before then. It just seems like a Patriot pick to take the guy with injury history at a linebacking position, and then he sits out the first year, comes in the second year, and just tears everyone up, and we're all calling Bill Belichick a genius again. Seems to happen every year. Armani, are you back with us?
Yeah, I'm back. My Wi-Fi went down for some reason. It never goes down. I was in the Colts, right? But,
you were on the Jaguars.
I have my mock draft. I'm going somewhere else, but I think if you really think about it now, I think they should go corner with Jalen Ramsey if he's still there, because Jalen Ramsey could be one of the best players in the. Well, he could arguably be the best player in the draft, and he has a lot of potential. I know Riley likes that since he's an FSU dude. And now we go to the 18th pick with the Colts. Colts, like everybody else in the draft, they need offensive line. Luck again got clobbered last year, and that's why he was hurt like 90% of the season. And I think if you get him a good line, I think his interceptions will go down. Like right now, if you really watch him, I think he's like kind of scared in the pocket because you got people coming in from everywhere because his line can't hold him. And I have them going with Ronnie Staley out of Notre Dame. So we go to the.
Drop out again. Well, Armani, we can't hear you, and he's gone. I think it's the guy who has the most reliable internet connection out of all of us. We got on air. We haven't had any problems, and Mr. Reliable goes down. Until he finds his way back in, like the lost puppy that he is, all 15 years of age of him. Let's go NFC South, and I believe Jay Gibbs, you have the news there. What's the skinny? All right, Jay's not here either.
I will be right back with you. I have a very upset little fan.
Hi, Star. All right, go ahead and take over with the NFC West then, Eva. John? Oh, jeez. Is that 3 strikes? Am I out? I think I'm out. What the hell? Yeah. John's definitely frozen. But hey, we struck out enough that we have Armani back. So let's go. Let's let him.
I'm sorry, it's something weird.
That's something weird with all of us. You're fine.
We go to my hometown, Houston. They have the 22nd pick, and I think in my mock draft I had them going Will Fuller, but as you think about it now, I think we should go defensive end on the other side of Watt. because Crick last year was just terrible, and that's kind of if we can't. I mean, we can put Clowney there. I mean, that's what he really was in college. He was a defensive end. But I think we should go DeForest Buckner out of Oregon.
You think he'll be there?
Pick.
You think he'll be there?
I think he will. I mean, if he's there, we take him.
I've seen him going in the top 10 recently. I'm not sure he'll be around for you. What, does anybody have what is Sean Oakman's stock going into this draft? If you don't remember who he is, he's that 6'7" guy with the full screen face mask and the 8-pack.
Yeah,
like
I
a transformer standing in the huddle.
I don't think people are too highly on him.
No, I don't think he's. I think he's like a third round, something like that.
On top of the world last year.
Yeah, he was huge.
Could be a late round target to keep an eye on.
I'm reading around right now. Looks like scouting is saying looking at rounds 4 to 7 before picking Sean Oakman.
Wow, what a fall from grace.
Well, part of it is the rape allegation.
He had a rape allegation?
Yeah, he's currently under investigation for sexual assault.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so it's a Lyle Collins kind of thing.
Yeah, character issue. I mean, his draft grade, he's a solid second, third round pick.
But then you factor in the off-field stuff.
Yeah, I mean, he had a redshirt season up at Penn State. He was kicked off the team. But that wasn't. I wouldn't put that on him. I think he's overcome a lot of adversity. His dad wasn't around growing up. Mom was a drug addict. He kind of did it himself coming up through. He got kicked off the Penn State team out of meal credits. So, I mean, I don't chalk that up to character issues. But looking through, like I said, he with his new allegation, I mean, he ran a 4.9 40. He's a 32-inch vertical, 123-inch broad jump. He's definitely a physical specimen for sure. 6'8", 287 pounds. He's got 35, almost 36-inch arms, 10 and 5/8-inch hands. Depending on how the sexual assault allegation goes, I think is where you have to make a lot of decisions. I think he is a guy that's going to overcome a lot. But I mean, if he's guilty of this assault, he shouldn't get drafted at all and should go to prison. But anyway, that's a whole different. I think based purely on his athletic ability, anybody would be happy to have a 6'8" defensive end that runs under 5 seconds for a 40. You just got to look at see how the rest of this plays out. I think somebody's going to end up, if it turns out these were fabricated or it's more than what it seems, I think somebody's going to get quite a steal in the draft by drafting him. Sorry,
Agreed.
over that for a second.
All right, Jay, we're going to kick it over to you anyway.
Okay.
The NFC South.
Perfect. NFC South. Lots of movement. Lots of things that can happen here as we go into the NFC South. It always seems to be one of the more up and down divisions in the NFL. From just as a fan of the NFL, you watch teams. First, it was the Falcons. It was their team. Then the Saints came around, and then it was their team, and now it's Cam Newton, their division, and now it's Cam Newton's division. And now you have somebody like the Buccaneers who made a great move with picking up Jameis Winston, who is now, they're starting to make waves. Do I think anybody except the Panthers are going to win? No, but I think that every team is going to make some pretty big strides. Starting off at the bottom, working our way up. Picking number 9 in the draft, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa Bay, I have them making defensive moves. I have a lot. Most of what I'm seeing online is defensive minded. They shored up the offense last year. They got Doug Martin back. They have Jameis Winston. Now it's time to shore up the defense even more. I have them taking in my mock draft on Sports Talk. I have them taking Vernon Hargreaves out of Florida at number 9. Of course, that is saying that he falls that far, but I definitely think they're going to try to shore up the secondary. I don't consider picking up Brent Grimes as shoring up the secondary. He's good, but just wait until his wife has another Twitter meltdown. I just think
Jeff,
maybe
one thing with Brent Grimes, last year you really started to notice his play begin to fall off. Him being undersized as he is, he's listed at 5'10". He's not. He's 5'8" or 5'9". Very big guy. He leaps high, he runs fast, and that's his thing. Once he loses either of those, you're going to beat him. I think we're just starting to watch that begin to happen with Brent Grimes.
Yeah, so that's why I think they're gonna draft a guy like Hargreaves who can start week 1. I think he's an NFL ready cornerback, and hopefully he's there. But I think they're gonna, and I think the second round, I've heard a couple of people go second round, so I'll look ahead here. I have them taking a safety. I have them taking Darian Thompson out of Boise State. I think they're going to focus. Personally, I think they're going to focus on shoring up the defense fully. You have other people who think instead of the secondary, I've heard that they might try to make a move for like DeForest Buckner, defensive end, and then taking things like Keanu Neal, safety out of Florida, but a lot of good options for them. But I really think it's going to be a defensive-minded draft for the Buccaneers, and then going from the Bucks. Moving down just a couple picks ahead, picking at number 12, we have the Saints, the New Orleans Saints, who it seemed like just a couple years ago were the team to beat in the NFC South. They've recently fallen back on some hard times, and a lot of that is defensively. Again, they bleed points. Drew Brees is getting old. He can't keep. You can't expect him to put up 40, 45 points a game to win you games, which is why I think, again, you're going to see a recurring theme here in the NFC South, guys. I do think that the Saints are going to be taking somebody defensively again. The first pick, again, in my draft, hashtag JDraft on Sports Talk, is going to be, I have them taking Ashawn Robinson, a defensive tackle out of Alabama. Actually, that seems to be a pretty popular pick for them going forward here. You also have somebody like Sheldon Rankins out of Louisville. But I think they're going to try to pick up that front seven defensively, short up, get some pressure on, again, somebody like Matt Ryan, somebody like Jameis Winston, somebody like Cam Newton. Same situation I see the Bears in, or now the Packers. You need to have somebody to pressure these competitive QBs just within your division if you want to stay competitive. So I have the Saints going defensive in the first round, and then I have them following up in the second round. I have them going offense. I have them starting to pick up like guards or tackles in the second round, trying to protect that old quarterback as they try to make a push here in the twilight years of Drew Brees. After the Saints, moving down the line here, again, just a couple picks. The NFC South is picking high a lot this year, unless you are Cam Newton and the Panthers. Number 17, you have the Falcons And again, no shock here. Not a bad team. Matt Ryan is a decent quarterback. I think he's been kind of unfairly branded, saying that he's not as good as he was people were led to believe. And I think a lot of that was the defense falling off. He was able to keep you in close games. He's clutch enough. He's Matty Ice. He had so many comeback wins when he had a defense to support him. Now, with that defensive fallout, he doesn't have that support anymore. Definitely showing up as a second-tier quarterback. So I think, again, at 17, you have the Falcons taking an interior lineman. I have them taking Sheldon Rankins out of Louisville. And then in the second round, I have the Falcons taking Justin Simmons, free safety out of Boston College. I got to see a little bit of what Simmons does looking online. He seems pretty solid. And with Quinn coaching in Atlanta, I can see a lot of good things happening there. But I think the Falcons are going to double down, much like Tampa Bay, going into the top two rounds. Are going to be making that defense competitive in the NFC South. And picking at number 31 overall, or sorry, 30 overall, because Patriots don't have a pick. So number 30 overall, you have the Panthers. It was tough for me to figure out where they're going to go. I'll be honest, guys. You guys feel free to chime in, by the way. Have you ever seen a more complete team?
I mean, they're weak at receiver.
They're solid.
Are they? Calvin Benjamin's coming back.
I mean, I like the Bills.
I mean, obviously, nobody is more complete than Jeff Grassi's.
Bills.
Jeff Grassi's Bills are the team to beat in the NFL. But I think
Best team I've ever seen is them Bills, honestly.
Yeah.
No, the Panthers. It's hard to find the weaknesses. I mean, you wish they blocked a little better in the Super Bowl, obviously, but the defense they were playing was just ferocious. If there's value at tackle, maybe go there. Get put Michael Laura out of his misery there.
Yeah.
Look at what safeties are available, in my opinion.
Yeah, so I mean, I didn't know who or where they're thinking of going. Their GM is kind of an enigma. He's pretty tight-lipped. He reminds me a lot of Ted Thompson for the Packers, where he doesn't really talk about what he's doing. He just goes out there and does it and gets results, especially in the draft. So I think I had them picking the cornerback Artie Burns from the U. And then I have them taking Carl Nassib. He's a defensive end out of Penn State. I think he's really underrated. I think he's really underrated because he played for Penn State, who doesn't get a lot of that flash. But I think with help me out here, guys. Defensive end, Jared Allen. There he is. With Jared Allen riding off into the sunset, I think a defensive end would be a good pick. So I think they'll stick with some defense right now. That you might see them on the second round take something like maybe a wide receiver, like Armani said. You got Kelvin Benjamin coming back. You still have Greg Olsen. Devin Funchess came into it later in the year. You have Ted Ginn when he decides to catch a ball.
Fast Teddy.
Again, it's going to be interesting to see what they do. I'm as interested as anybody when you have one of those just super complete teams.
Likely going to be a boring pick.
Right? It is. I mean, I don't think they're going to be like shocking anybody with their picks. But that's what happens when you are a complete team. That's what happens when you contend. Is you make the boring safe pick that shores up your second string. You pick the guys, like the Packers had for that little run here, coming up into the last two seasons. They just picked the guys that could just sit and learn from the guys in front of them. And I think that's what you're going to see from Carolina.
All right, and from there we're going to go over to John Ebal. Hopefully you can hear me this time. Hopefully you're not frozen again. NFC West, where it seems like there's a fierce competition to win that division, and then there's the Niners. What do the Niners do?
Well, thankfully they didn't lose really anybody. I mean, last year was just a mass exodus from San Francisco. You lost retirements, you lost trades, free agents, everything. This year, pretty quiet. They lost Alex Boone, but they signed Zane Beatles, so kind of a push there. I mean, Alex Boone's probably a little better, but other than that, they kept everybody. I mean, Reggie Bush is still available, but he's Reggie Bush. I think the Niners, like, I think they take best available. If they pick it at 7, I want them to take best available, but I have them taking Scooby Wright, the linebacker from Arizona. I mean, come on now, with a name like Scooby, he's going to be good. But I mean, I do remember seeing him play a little bit. He's
Damn it, Jay missed that one.
I don't know. I think he'll shore up the linebacking core. I mean, their defense is their biggest issue. I mean, Kaepernick it's still up in the air. No one knows if he's gone, if he's staying. It's up in the
I
air
heard
for
he
them.
was staying.
Yeah,
Nobody wants to pay that much money to Kaepernick.
Yeah.
Hey, what does Chip Kelly do with that team though?
Ooh, I don't know.
Like Philly.
Yeah, fire sale it.
I know a guy in that locker room, Kurt. I'll see what I can find out for you.
There's so many leagues in the locker room, it's insane.
All right, next pick is be the Los Angeles Rams at 15, and it's new city, new team. It's going to be exciting to see what they do, see how they move back into their old stomping grounds in LA. They lost quite a bit of people. They lost Chris Long. They cut him. Rodney McLeod to the Eagles. They lost Janoris Jenkins to the Giants. I mean, not big names, but still key components of the team.
Packers.
And yeah, Jared Cook. There's another one. I have them taken. I want to say a quarterback. They just need that offensive leadership there just to drive it home because they have Tavon Austin. They have the good receiving core. It's not stellar. It's going to put up all the numbers, but still, it's a solid core that they can build around. I have Carson Wentz going to them. It's a tough year to call quarterbacks. There's a lot of teams that need them, but there's a lot of teams that need more people than quarterbacks.
Everything
So
else.
yeah, offensive line, like Kurt said earlier, is like every team needs offensive line. But I want to say the Rams. Obviously, they'll probably take best available, or I don't know. I just think Carson Wentz. I mean, going to 15. I don't think he's top 10. I mean, 15 is probably about a good solid number for him.
I think the Rams have to go with a good quarterback since they're in the new city, which is LA.
They need
Can't
someone
play
to
with
build
Case
around.
Keenum at quarterback in LA.
It's kind of like when Katrina happened. I mean, Drew Brees was already in New Orleans, but he was the face of the franchise. He was the one out there leading the city.
Yep.
I think
Yeah, that blew the fans away.
Yeah.
Literally.
The second round, I have the Rams. Yeah, I said they have a good receiving core, but again, best available. I have them taking Mike Thomas from Ohio State. Watching him play, being an Ohio State fan, super impressed with him. He's every single time JT or Cardale or whoever threw the ball needed a deep ball, Mike Thomas was there to catch it every time. Just except when Cardale overthrew him, which was a lot. I'll just glaze over that. Next pick, I mean, there's a huge disparity. You got Niners, Rams, and you got Seahawks and Cardinals. It's another like AFC North. It's two top teams, a mid team, and then a really just down in the dumps team. Seahawks, another, I mean, they're a complete team in the sense that, I mean, the core guys are still there. They were able to re-sign their big names. They lost Russell Okung, though. Bruce Irvin's a little gone, but I mean, it's not a team that's going to be super overly. I think Seattle's deep enough that they don't need to take a big name. I mean, they're picking 26th. I have them taking an offensive lineman, Jermaine Ifedi from Texas A&M. Just another pick. They lost a Kung. I mean, I just think they need someone to hold on and protect Russell Wilson, I don't even know who's the running back anymore since Lynch retired.
Rawls.
Rolls.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thomas Rawls. He was good. He's no beast mode Skittle guy, but he's gonna be consistent, be able to carry. They just need that offensive presence. Richard Sherman's still in the backfield. Their defense is pretty okay. Second round, D line, I have them focusing. I have them taking Emmanuel Ogba from Oklahoma State. We know one guy in sports talk is really high on him. I won't say his name, but Oklahoma State. He loves him. He'll go. I think he'll fall down to St. Louis or Seattle in the second round. Cardinals picking 29th. They don't have a second round pick, so their first round is what they need. Cardinals, another complete team, really. NFC West is good with them, but they just have. They were just that one piece away. One piece away. They get to the NFC title game, and they just. You can't really blame them for losing to Carolina. Carolina's, like Peck saying, just complete team, just dominated them all around. I have them taking a safety just to shore up back there. I have them taking Jeremy Cash from Duke. Just seems like the best available. It's not going to be a huge splashy pick. It's not going to be, oh wow, it's just going to be another guy that they have just to possibly come in, start, possibly just play third downs, play special teams. It's just they don't really need too much. They don't have offensive needs. They're keeping their quarterbacks, they're keeping Chris Johnson, they're keeping their wide receivers. Their offense really set. Defense, maybe just need a little help back there. It's gonna be a tough year again for the NFC West. I have them finishing the same way they do last year. Cardinals, Seahawks, top two obviously. Rams, maybe they improve, maybe they go 8-8, and that's not too far of a possibility. Niners, depending on the draft, depending on if Kaepernick stays, 5-11 is probably a possibility, but also 7-9 is a possibility. They could surprise us, but they could also just fall flat.
I love it, John. The Niners.
I don't know what they're doing.
It's like the AFC North. It's like you have two good teams, a mid team that's been good, but then they fell off, and then just Cleveland.
No, I definitely agree with you there. That's just like how you phrased it. All right, I'm going to do a little rundown for the AFC West now. We have San Diego Chargers picking at number 3. They've fallen from the perennial 8-8 team that might make the playoffs to the basement. They lose Eric Weddle. The whole team's getting old. Running back, you have question marks all over. It's not playing out the way that they thought it would with Melvin Gordon, and at least you have Danny Woodhead, I guess. I'm looking at defensive line for them. I think that's their biggest need, and I'm going with the popular pick, DeForest Buckner for the Chargers, number 3 overall. Joey Bosa, there's a chance. I don't think Buckner is a better fit there. Slide down a few picks to number 14, Oakland. You look all over, you say, oh, Oakland needs a cornerback. Everyone forgot they signed Sean Smith and how well Amerson played last year. Cornerback is not where they had, in my opinion. Here, Donald Penn's getting old. You might look at offensive line, and you look at inside linebacker, in my opinion. Safety was a popular pick there, but Reggie Nelson just came into town, got himself a 2-year deal. So I don't think they look safety in the first round anymore. Maybe a little later, guy that can sit on the bench, develop a little bit, and then replace Nelson once he's ready to go. As far as my picks for them, I'm thinking linebacker is probably what happens. Conklin is the only offensive lineman that may fit in there. But at linebacker, if Reggie Ragland's still there, if Miami doesn't swipe him up for 4, or the Giants even don't swipe him up before, see them taking him. Beneke's probably saying it wrong. Beneke's Brown may be a good fit there. Inside linebacker, they can stop the run. That's something they really need to do. Their safeties had way too many tackles last year. And Charles Woodson's gone, so he can't come down there and save everybody like he was doing last year. I can't tell you how many touchdowns I've seen Charles Woodson save last season because they ran right past the linebackers, right past that second level. The Kansas City Chiefs, I'm seeing needs at linebacker, quarterback, safety, wide receiver. I don't think Alex Smith is going anywhere. Andy Reid will play with a mid-tier quarterback all year and not really care. Look at Kevin Cobb and how confident he was playing with Kevin Cobb. And Alex Smith is at least better than Kevin Cobb. Where I'm really looking for the Chiefs, Reid's stubborn. He might not do it. But I'm looking at wide receiver. Put somebody with Jeremy Macklin. Don't make him do it all on his own. Treadwell probably gone. I think Will Fuller is the pick here, in my opinion, from Notre Dame. I'm from Philadelphia. Might already know Reid. Probably not, but you try to add in some fluff to make these prospects sound like a match made in heaven. Outside of that, I mean, outside linebacker is a need, but I don't really see him going there. Let me go down to the Denver Broncos, the quarterbackless Denver Broncos. Jared Goff's going to be gone. Carson Wentz is going to be gone. If Paxton Lynch is there, do you take him? Is he better than the Sanchez? I think he's better than Sanchez. But that's what I'm thinking. If Paxton Lynch is available, pull the trigger, take him, let him sit for a little while if he can. I'm not sure how Kubiak handles his rookie quarterbacks, to be honest with you. Outside of quarterback, you look at the offensive line; they were pretty terrible. Old man Peyton got beat up. So you can look at a guy like, oh no, they'll be gone. Tunsil will be gone. Stanley will be gone. Blair will probably be gone. And once you start falling outside of that, I mean, it's more questions than answers on the offensive line for these guys in the draft this year. Eric Flowers this last year. Denver's a little tricky. I think they go quarterback. I don't think they're comfortable with Sanchez. I hope they're not comfortable with Sanchez. John Elway is so much smarter than that. So,
How do you think the Denver Broncos do next year if they put Sanchez as a starting quarterback?
it depends. I mean, if that defense can be okay losing Trevathan, be okay losing Malik Jackson, that they're two pretty big losses. But if they do their next man up the way that we've seen New York do it in the past, the way we've seen Green Bay do it in the past, I think they can go as far as they need to with Sanchez. I mean, can he play worse than Manning did? Manning played half the season and led the league in interceptions. I mean, Brock Osweiler went in there and he didn't have to do much. I mean, Sanchez is a veteran. I mean, we all remember the butt fumble, but
The greatest thing
he's not. I'm not going to say he's not that bad. I was going to, but I'm not going to say he's not that bad.
He's pretty bad.
If you say he's not that bad, it means he's that bad.
Yeah, that's why I didn't say it, Jay. I will say, just to ruffle Armani's feathers there, the Texan fan. I'm happier with him than Osweiler. I couldn't say it without laughing.
Ooh.
Now, would you
Magic
take
Eyes.
Paxton Lynch over Connor Cook?
Yes.
Absolutely,
You would.
absolutely.
Okay.
Go with who?
I got to watch Connor Cook's whole career as a Michigan fan. And
Bias.
oh no, I think he looked like the most pro-ready quarterback in the NCAA. There's a reason for that. Mark D'Antonio runs a pro-style offense. He makes quarterbacks look great.
He's like the Big 12 North. Like,
Yeah,
quarterbacks look
can you
good, quarterbacks do this, but
yeah
then they go to the,
can
the
you
show and are
can you
bad.
tell me the last successful Michigan State quarterback? They're all very successful backups.
Hey, Drew Stanton went to the NFC title game last year.
Well, yeah,
He rode the pine, but he went to the NFC title game last year.
I was gonna say.
That's funny.
You know,
My
I think, like I
issue,
said, I think. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
my issue with Cook, I don't think he can command an NFL huddle. I
Nope.
think he's childish. I don't think he's a leader, and I don't see guys looking up to him. I don't see them following his lead. It's not the Connor Cook that I've seen interviews with. Not the Connor Cook I've seen on the NFL
And
for
is
NCAA.
Connor Cook not like the whitest name ever? Just side note, he sounds like a dude you could easily take his lunch money.
They could have at least put an E on the end of Cook. Make him look a little more exotic.
Right?
I mean, it's just as white as John Smith. Like that's
Right.
It's actually my father's name. Just for the record.
My name is Connor Cook, and I live in Connecticut, the whitest state in the world.
Bridgeport, Connecticut, even.
Yes. I have never had breakfast in my life. I eat exclusively brunch.
Mimosas all the time.
I have multiple opinions about tax brackets.
And before we get into the politicalness that is apparently let's kick over to the NHL playoff picture. Jay, it's really getting complicated in the East. I think everyone's on the edge of their seat. No fan, no team in the race is comfortable.
I'm literally on the edge of my seat right now.
Pens are pretty comfortable.
Oh, Kurt, the hat switch. I love it.
The hat switch, even.
I'm prepared to lose Saturday.
Right? I'm pretty sure every team at the bottom.
Cut out, Jay.
You're absolutely right, Peck. I'm not gonna hide the smile. This is my favorite time of year, and it's gonna be some of the best playoffs I think we've seen in a long time. Not just the drama going into the East, but just the stacked, absolute beast mode West. I saw in Sports Talk a little bit earlier, actually, just before the show. We had a member make a post about the Islanders and how unfair it was that even though they beat the Rangers, that they have to play the Penguins. Now, a month ago, if they said, who would you rather play, the Penguins or the Panthers, they would be tripping over themselves to get Pittsburgh. Now Pittsburgh looks like the team to beat in the East. I hate saying that out loud.
Say it again for me, please.
I can do it. Pittsburgh, I mean, I'm just talking hockey here. Purely talent-wise, Pittsburgh is the team to beat. They have looked good their last 10 games, at least.
And that's all without getting Malkin. We haven't had a number two.
Honestly, that's all I'm worried about. If I'm the Penguins, I might leave Evgeny Malkin out. You guys have gotten the Penguins have a great chemistry right now, and I think
our second forward line is just unbelievable. And I don't think if Malkin comes out, I wouldn't break it up. Benino is coming into his own. I don't even know. Malkin, how could you have the second best skater in the East and you're gonna put him on your third line? Like what team does that?
I don't know about second best skater in the East, but
I'm just just Homer.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm still going to give the number one skater in the East to Mr. Crosby.
Yes.
But number two, I'm going to be a little bit of a homer with some backing numbers. I got to go with the Magic Man, Pavel Datsyuk. But anyway, Islanders complaining because they are the third seed in the Metropolitan. They have to play the second seed in the Metro, which is Pittsburgh. After defeating the Rangers, taking the tiebreaker over them right now. And then, like I said, now the Rangers get to play Florida. To them, I say, yes, oh, that woe is you. You have to play Pittsburgh instead of Florida. And to that, I say, woe is you, because let's take a quick hop down to the West. The West Central, is led by Dallas with 107 points. Number 2 is the St. Louis Blues with 107 points. And in third, you have the Chicago Blackhawks with 102 points.
Yeah, it's a tough division.
Exactly. And then, okay, now you have the Pacific. You have Los Angeles with 101, Anaheim with 99, and San Jose with 96. And then your wild cards are Nashville with 96 and Minnesota with 87. Yes, 87 points. So the Islanders, oh darn, you have to play Pittsburgh. Chicago and St. Louis right now both have 107, 102 points. They have to go into a knockdown, drag-out first-round battle, while Dallas gets Minnesota as they should. And then the 101-point Los Angeles Kings get the 96-point Nashville Predators. But then you have San Jose and Anaheim with 99 and 96 points battling it out. I mean, it's not easy, but I don't want to hear the Islanders complain about drawing Pittsburgh when you have three teams all over 100 points in one division. And I guess the only big thing coming out of the West right now, every seed is set in the West. Dallas, St. Louis, Chicago, then Los Angeles, Anaheim, San Jose, and Nashville, and Minnesota bringing it back. Everything is set except for the number 1 overall seed coming out of the Central. It comes down to the last game. Dallas and St. Louis both have 107 points. Dallas just recently beat Colorado 4-2. St. Louis had a great game, beating the Chicago Blackhawks 2-1 to take actually home ice away from them. Kind of securing that away with that win. And their last game of the year is going to be Saturday. A lot of good action. Saturday, Dallas has the Nashville Predators at home, and Saturday, St. Louis has the Washington Capitals at home. The winner, if Dallas and St. Louis both win, Dallas retains the number 1 overall, home ice throughout. If St. Louis can beat the Capitals and Dallas drops a game against the Predators, then you have St. Louis taking that number 1 overall. That's about the only big drama. I still have Dallas as my Western pick. They just have looked good all year. They win at home. They win on the road. They're split for the shootouts. But right now, St. Louis does have momentum. They're on a 3-game win streak. Not anybody to mess around with. West is going to be tough. It's going to be some pretty nasty, hard-hitting battles coming out of the West. The Western representative will have definitely earned it. Moving over to the East, might be homer biased. It might be because we have 3 of the Eastern teams are represented right here, and we have the casual Phillies fan / Predators fan in Justin. You got the Phillies represented by Mr. And now we have another representative coming in.
Royalty.
Hello, fellas.
Mr. Frank Feely. We just got done talking about the Western Conference for the NHL, wrapping that up. Now we're moving to the main event, so to speak, the Eastern Conference here. Final games of the season to be played. And it could be literally anybody's game coming in here. A lot of drama. Everybody except for the Washington Capitals and Washington, Florida, and Pittsburgh are all pretty set in their ways. Tampa is comfortable as well with 97 points. It comes down to the Islanders at the number 3 spot in the Metro, Detroit at the number 3 spot in the Atlantic, the Rangers at the number 1 wild card, Boston at the number 2 wild card, and Philly at the outside looking in right now. But both the Islanders and Philadelphia have a game to play over everybody else. The Islanders with 99 points, currently tied with the Rangers. So both with 99 points. The Rangers finish their season tomorrow hosting the Detroit Red Wings. A lot of implications for both. And honestly, it's actually good news for Detroit. If I'm the Rangers, I might lose that game. I might lose that game to Detroit. I would lose that game and draw Florida before winning that game and drawing Pittsburgh. Yeah, if the Rangers win and the Islanders have a game Saturday against Buffalo, if the Islanders continue to play well, let them play well. Let them draw Pittsburgh, and then let the Rangers draw Florida. All the better for Detroit, too. If Detroit can pull out a win in any way, any kind of win, regulation, overtime win, 2 points is all Detroit needs, and they clinch with 95 points. Taking a look through, I'm just making sure here as I'm looking at this that yes, with 2 points, they'll move to 95 points and have 40 regulation or overtime wins as they finish up here. So any kind of win, they clinch with 95.
It just becomes a battle between Philly and Boston at that point, right?
Pretty much, yeah. Because if Boston wins and Detroit loses, Boston plays Ottawa tomorrow at home. If Boston wins, they go to 95 points. If Detroit loses, they stay at 93, obviously, and drop down to the number 2 wild card. And then Philadelphia has 2 games left. They play tomorrow against Pittsburgh. RIP Philadelphia. I don't see anybody stopping Pittsburgh right now. Pittsburgh wants momentum. You know, people can say it doesn't mean anything for Pittsburgh. Absolutely. Pittsburgh's won 8 in a row right now. 8 games ago, they didn't know if they were going to be in the playoffs. They had dropped a couple, and then all of a sudden they decided, oh yeah, no, wait, we want not only to get in, but to look good doing it. They've won 8 in a row. Their last game is Saturday against Philly, in Philly. If they win, it definitely gives them that full head of steam, 9 wins in a row to go into the postseason play. Philadelphia has 2 opportunities to try to get in. If they win both of their games outright, they get in. Boston has no say over that. Even if Boston wins, if they get 4 points, they're going to take 96. They're going to hop over Boston. They're going to hop over Detroit, too. So must wins for Boston and Detroit. If Boston and Detroit win, it is fully in Philadelphia's hands. I guess I'll kind of turn it over to Kurt real quick here. I follow the NHL pretty much as a religion, but I know you follow the Flyers really close. How do you feel with Philadelphia hosting Pittsburgh, and then the next day they play the Islanders for the season finale?
I don't know, man. I about gave up on the team, to be honest with you. I have the hat on because I have to show the colors, but I don't know, man. We played Pittsburgh last week, and it was a bad game. I mean, and we lost last night, 4-3 in overtime to the Leafs. It was hard to swallow, man. I thought we had it, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know what they can do to beat Pittsburgh at home, and I think they're going to come in and just mop the floor with us.
I mean, I hate to say because there's no such thing as a sure thing.
No, there's not.
This is about the closest I've ever seen it, though.
Yeah, I mean, Jake Voracek, he was out on an injury and came back, and it seems like as soon as he came back, the Flyers started playing poorly. And he's supposed to be one of the top scorers on the team, but
yeah, wasn't his nickname Skorcheck?
Yeah, thanks to Bauer, but no, man, I don't know. I don't have any confidence going in. It's just the flip of the coin right now, so we'll have to see what happens.
And I think a lot of it too. Correct me if I'm wrong. With Steve Mason, pretty much having to shoulder up and take on goaltending by himself this last stretch here,
Yep.
it wears you down. It can kill teams.
Yeah, and they have. I mean, they signed Stollers because Noverth got injured, and you
Yep.
can't put him in net right now. I mean, these last two games are so serious; they have to have Mason ride it out. And
Yep.
I mean, there was reports he was losing 10 pounds a game, just from overexertion. I mean, sweat. I know they sweat a lot on the ice, but I mean, the guy's he's been beat up. I mean, he's just doing the best he can. I mean, they can't put Stollers in there, so he'll ride it
No.
out.
I hear you there. Same with Detroit. We left. We just got waxed by Boston, 5-2. It was embarrassing, especially after a great physical game. Great physical game against Philadelphia. We came out and looked flat the next day. They interviewed Coach Jeff Blashill about it. They're like, what's going on? Is fatigue playing a role? And I liked his answer a lot. He said, fatigue can't play a role. You're fighting for a playoff spot. Boston's fighting for their lives, and they came out and showed it. They looked fast. They looked scary. I feel bad, Frank, that a team that is putting it together, that they had that nice statement win. Now they have Ottawa to really solidify a win, but I feel bad that they aren't fully in control of their destiny yet.
Yeah, those Canadian teams, man, they're out of it, but look what they did to the Flyers last night. I mean,
spiteful, they're hateful.
You never know.
I guess, Frank, I'll turn it over to you quick. You want to fill us in what your thoughts are on the Boston Bruins?
I don't know, man. They're pretty darn inconsistent this year. They'll go a stretch where all of a sudden they look pretty darn good, and then they'll just take a dump and look terrible. But they go, so it looks like we'll see what happens, right?
Absolutely. I think that could be the story of all three of our teams, Detroit, Boston, Philly. Inconsistency. Philly puts it together for a while. They look like the team to beat in Pennsylvania, and then they drop a couple. Detroit puts a couple together, looking good, and then plays a great physical statement game against Philly Wednesday night. Looks good doing it. 40 shots on goal, I want to say. And then comes out and looks flat against Boston. Boston looked great for a while. Then they dropped 8 of 10.
Right.
They fell right. They had a stranglehold on the number 2 seed in the Atlantic and just fell right out of grace. It really, I think it comes down to who's going to put it together at the end. Boston has a good shot at solidifying at least the 2 points to put the pressure on Detroit. If they can beat Ottawa tomorrow, they have 95 points. And it comes down to Detroit having to beat the Rangers. And like I said earlier, I hope the Rangers are the ones who look at it and go, okay, we'd rather play Florida than Pittsburgh, and drop it on purpose. But
who's beating the Capitals? Who's beating the Capitals, though? Let's be honest.
Out of the East, Pittsburgh.
Yep.
Pikachu.
I mean, didn't the other day just the Penguins beat them 7-2 that game, wasn't it? Just absolutely destroyed Holtby, pulled them in the second period.
Yep.
I mean, then again, the Caps had nothing to play for at that point. They already clinched number 1 and everything. But still, they still played.
It's exactly. You still play for momentum.
Well, and it's a rival too. You don't want to just give them a win. Pittsburgh was still fighting at that point to where they weren't in. They still could have lost it, but Pittsburgh just showed them up. And I mean, one game is one game. The series is different. It could go 7 games. It could go 5. It just, I don't know. The Capitals, they're strong. They looked all regular season, but it's the Capitals.
It is, and I think they've made a lot of good strides. Ovi's not their leading scorer this year. One of their second-year guys, I think. Can't remember his name off the top of my head. But I think they gassed themselves out, and they jumped out to 118 points. They played really hard all through November, December, January. I think they're getting tired. If they get Detroit or Philly in the first round, they'll probably win in 5. If they get Boston, they'll probably win in 6 or 7. Boston might steal one from them. It depends on how hard they play. But after getting out of the first round, you might even make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, depending on how it shakes out. But right now, going into the playoffs, I have Pittsburgh going to represent the East, and I absolutely despise that. Oh yeah, a lot of good drama. Sorry, kind of ramble on there towards the end. It was good to see Frank come in with some Boston news. Good to have Kurt's insight for Philly. Always good to have John's insight. I mean, other than their, I can just go on about how good they look, but it's nice to have a fan's perspective on what it means for Malkin coming back. And personally, for Detroit, I really want this win. I really want this win.
Damn it, Armani.
really want this win going into the Rangers game. If we solidify the 3rd in the Atlantic, we get Tampa Bay for our first round matchup, and Tampa Bay is missing Steven Stamkos. All that means to me is Detroit might sneak a first round victory in like 6 or 7 games. But I really think earlier in the year I predicted a Tampa Bay Dallas Stanley Cup. With Steven Stamkos going down, and with Pittsburgh surging, I still think Dallas is going to make it. They're a deep team, and they play hard every game. I have a Dallas-Pittsburgh Stanley Cup final. Personally, right now going into it, Dallas-Pittsburgh, Dallas winning it in 6. So you heard it here first.
The cheesy heard it here first.
Had to.
I do want to open up just a pretty general baseball discussion with you guys. Hold on, let me get my cap ready here. Hold on. 0-4. What's up? God, we look bad. My goodness.
I mean, your offense is good.
Bears
Your
up there.
starters are good, but the bullpen just absolutely just hands.
The bullpen is putrid.
You might get called up, Peck. You might want to pitch. You want to start warming up. You might
I've been stretching my arm out, I've got the game on behind me. It looks like Boston is up 8-7 in the 8th inning. I know Frank's probably sitting there watching it.
It's freaking me out, man. Uehara just freaking walked a guy.
Yeah, just saw that.
He used to have great control, but they may have the horse Kimbrel in a little early. We'll see. I don't know. This is a big inning.
Yeah, I'm used to watching guys.
They're currently up 8-7. It's the 8th inning, but the Blue Jays have a guy on. So they came back from the depths of Joe Kelly tossing another freaking. I don't even want to say it, but he sucks. I can't stand him. We traded a lot to the Cardinals to get him, and he's been garbage. And it's getting frustrating, and it's like you got to ask yourself how long do you let that go? What do you do? But the Sox are deep. They're good. They're going to score runs. Their starting pitching is not super strong past David Price, which is still an upgrade, obviously, from last year. But I still think they need another big-time arm. Their bullpen's okay, but they're kind of similar to the Yankees, I think, in that, but the Yankees have better pitching, and I think the Red Sox have better hitting. But I think they're both going to win a lot of games here. I think the entire AL East is going to be really, really interesting. There's a lot of good teams again in the East, and I think health is going to dictate a lot. And obviously the Cubs can tell you, and their fans will tell you all about that today with the year with a torn apart leg. That sucks for them. But I was saying it in a thread in Sports Talk. If Kyle Schwarber is going to make or break your season, then you really weren't that good to begin with. So, it sucks a guy like that, but I'm sure they'll be fine.
Yeah, I think after the initial shell shock that everyone had, guy that I mentioned, he was like, well, he's not in there every day. He's in there every 5 days. So, I mean, it's not the whole season, and I think people are starting to realize, well, that sucks, but they're still pretty damn good. Let's talk about Trevor's Story a little bit. On pace for like 200 home runs, ridiculous. He's been 4 games in a row, 6 total.
Yeah, four games in a row. Young rookie called up from AAA finally. First game, it's 2 homers. Next game, homer. Next game, homer. Today, another 2. He already got 6, and it's just not. They're not just wall scrapers. They're not just, oh, well, he hit a good one. No, today his home run in Coors Field. Yeah, it's okay. Coors Field, blah blah blah, whatever. Hitters Park. He hit it 415 feet. Like you go down probably his first series was in Arizona. Arizona's 1,000 feet in the air. He was crushing them like 30 rows deep. I mean, he has 7 hits on the year and 6 of them are homers. I mean, it's way too early. It's game 4 of the season. Like I said earlier, he's the Rocky starting shortstop right now because Jose Reyes he's probably getting suspended still. He's dismissed from the team right now. It's the whole he got his wife's not pursuing the charges against his allegation, whatever, but he's still in limbo of no one knows if he's going to get league action or team action. He's just not on the team right now. So Trevor Story, who I had never heard of until he hit the first home run, he comes in just hitting bombs. And I mean, the Rockies are still the Rockies. They're going to lose 100 games, whatever. The pitching is absolutely garbage, but I mean, they still got Nolan Arenado, 5-tool player, hot corner. He's going to win another Gold Glove, probably another Silver Slugger. Carlos Gonzalez, he's going to get traded middle of the year, just like Tulowitzki last year. He's going to go somewhere in the AL East. He'll go probably Yankees. I don't know. I mean, he's gone. It's too much money. He's too long-term contract. The Rockies just don't have the money for him. So they'll keep Arenado for a couple of years. They'll keep Story for 2 years, but they'll finish dead last. They might finish 4th above the Padres. Padres, who just beat them, scored their first run of the year. They'll finish above them, but it's going to be a bad year. Other hand, my other team, the Indians, 2 rainouts already against Boston. Yeah. They played 3 games. They won today 7-1 against the White Sox. I mean, everyone's picking them. Oh, the Indians are going to win the World Series. They're going to win the Central. They're going to beat the Royals. I have
Who
them
the hell
winning.
is saying the Indians are going to win the World Series?
I don't know. I read a couple stories that people were saying the Indians, like they said last year, like Sports Illustrated was picking them to win the World Series. It's like, I don't see it. Like,
Stories are made up.
I'm an Indians homer. I've been an Indians fan my entire life, but I mean, I just don't. I mean, they have a team. Michael Brantley's still hurt. He's not even playing. Santana playing first base has the potential. I mean, Corey Kluber, if he gets back to 2 years ago, a Cy Young year, he's gonna be absolutely amazing.
What happened to him?
He didn't really fall off last year. He just had people kind of figured him out. It's kind of like Ubaldo Jimenez a couple years ago for the Rockies. He had that amazing 20, he won 12 games before the All-Star break, and ended up winning 20, but he only won 8 games the last half of the year. People figured him out, figured his stuff out, figured where he's going to throw, and they beat him. Kluber last year, I mean, he didn't really fall off. Like I said, he struck people out. The Indians didn't have the run support behind him. They lost a lot of 2-1 games, a lot of 3-2, close games where he'd only give up 1 or 2 runs.
Year.
But yeah, he had a quiet year. But the Indians, again, like I said, just run support didn't get enough behind him. They had Kipnis injured, Brantley is hurt.
They have a great coach, though.
Yeah, Tito Francona,
Manager.
love him. But I mean, their pitching staff. I mean, their top 3 guys: Kluber, Carrasco, and I just spaced his name. Danny Salazar. Probably, I mean, all 3 of those guys. If you put them on a couple different teams, all of those guys would be #1 starters.
And Lindor's no joke.
Yeah, he got robbed of the Cy Young last year. Yeah, he didn't play the entire year. Whatever. CC Sabathia got robbed of the Rookie of the Year by Ichiro Suzuki. Don't hold grudges, whatever. But I mean, the Indians, like I said, Brantley just needs to come back, play consistently. Napoli, just signed. He's our DH right now. He's. I mean, again, it's an early in the season. Napoli just needs to show up. Marlon Byrd, Rajay Davis, Jan Gomes, Kipnis. If the core of the Indians stay healthy, I could see them pushing the Royals. I don't think they'll beat the Royals. I think the Indians will, at the very least, get a wild card. I mean, not at the very least. At the very most, they'll get a wild card. Because the Royals, I just see them just dominating still in the AL. And then Indians, I mean, I could see them making the ALDS, but I wouldn't see them going that farther. It's health. It's everyone's got to stay healthy. Kluber's got to win 16 games, strike out 250 at least. Carrasco and Salazar, 12 wins apiece. It's good. That's what they need. White
John, I
Sox.
have a scenario for you.
Okay.
Let's say the Indians have a pretty good first half of the season and they're buyers at the trade deadline. Away prospects to make a run at it, or is this a team that will just kind of run with what they got and keep their young guys?
Knowing the Indians as long as I have, they're never buyers. They make moves in the off season, but during the season they sell. I mean, they traded Cliff Lee during the season. They traded Sabathia during the season. They're more of a sellers, but again, like you said, this is a team that can compete, and they do have some players in the minors that can show up. They still have Lonnie Chisenhall, who was a big name for them a couple years ago, was in AAA right now. Like he was their starting right fielder a couple years ago. They have a couple other different players that can play on other teams, but do they want to give the? I mean, they're not young either. They're 25, 26. They're middle aged for baseball. But it also comes down to the fact who's going to be selling. Like, if a Carlos Gonzalez is available, do the Indians want to trade what they have and buy that salary in? Like, they're still paying for Michael Bourne. They're still paying for gosh, what's his name? They traded him to the Braves too. He was on the Yankees. I can't remember his name now. They're paying for both those guys still. Nick Swisher. Nick Swisher was an absolute disaster last year. They're still paying his contract. They're on the hook for that this
Who the
year.
hell is still paying Nick Swisher to do anything?
No one is, but the Indians are because they paid him such a big contract to sign him. So therefore, that's dead weight and dead money, which
It's Bobby
The Dole-
Bonilla type money.
Bobby Bonilla is still getting paid, and he retired 20 years ago. But it's the Dolans aren't sellers. I'm sorry, they're not buyers. They don't make moves during the season, and if it is, it's hey, we signed this guy and he's going to play in the minor leagues. I mean, they signed Jason Giambi a couple years ago, and he carried him into the wild card that year. But I mean, and then he played his bench role. But again, it's nothing like, oh, we're going to go out and sign a trade our whole draft away or trade our whole future away for Carlos Gonzalez, a star player that's going to change the team. They're good at all aspects. They do need a little more offense. They need some depth in the outfield. I mean, Marlon Byrd, left field, he's like 35. Juan Uribe's third baseman, he's in his 30s. Like the core is still there. It's just that I don't know. It's being an Indians fan. I'm just so jaded that we're always going to lose. Yeah, but they're just a couple players away. Off seasonally, I could see them making a move, but during the season, I don't think they'll do anything to push them above the Royals. They'll just be the wild card tier team.
Pecker, tell us about the Phillies.
Well, I was just going to say, I mean, you guys are sitting over here talking about playoffs and all that stuff.
I mean, the Phillies have a baseball team. They have.
I'm so happy to watch all these. I think we have 8 rookies on the 25-man roster. I can't wait to watch these guys play.
They're going to get a #1 pick.
You guys are talking about playoffs. I'm watching Aaron Nola go out there and he diced them up in his first game. That was exciting for me. It's so much different than what you guys are talking about. I mean, what I was hanging my hat on was like, well, we have the same record as the Cardinals. We won the same amount of games so far this year, but it looks like they're ready to pick up their first win tonight. So I can't use that sorry excuse anymore. Jeremy Hellickson looked really good, surprisingly. That was pretty cool. Probably a one-game thing, but
He was so good with Tampa.
The rookie year, like I watched him, like this guy's going to be great, and then I'm like, this is why I'm not a scout. I mean, everything pointed in the right direction for the kid. I don't like his delivery. I'm just picky, but he has like a little hitch in it. It irritates the hell out of me.
What do you
Billy's
think of
man,
Ryan Howard? Do they need to just
ugh,
like just let him go?
$25 million man, Ryan Howard.
He
That's
dropped
why
a
we've been trading.
bomb the other night.
What was that?
He dropped a bomb the other night.
That's what he'll do. I mean, he'll strike out 8 times in the series, but I'll hit 2 home runs. I mean,
They're paying him $10,000 every strikeout right now.
something like that. I mean, he's making a ridiculous amount of money. We can buy him out after this season, and then I think his baseball career is probably done.
Have
Hey,
you ever
he's
seen a guy just
36?
completely fall off like that?
Not that I can remember. It seemed like right after he tore his Achilles, his career died. It's like he was
Yeah,
never the same
that was a
again.
bad injury for him. That was really bad.
I mean, and I give him credit. Like, I mean, he tore his Achilles because he tried so damn hard to not be the last out in the World Series. Um, and that's a big man to try to take off out of the box, and pushed it a little harder than he should have, and tore his shit up. I think after
He's
this
the
year,
Derrick Rose of baseball.
yeah, after the injury, absolutely. It's like my legs don't work. I'm sorry.
Hmm.
But nah, after this year, maybe he gets a spring trainee invite on to an AL team to be your DH when you need a lefty.
He may get the
Right,
Jason Giambi treatment. So like an AL team signs him to come in and clutch situations. So, oh, we need a big hit here. Try and hit a homer.
He'll get a DH job somewhere.
But yeah, we're down by 3, and it's the last out. There's a righty on the mound. Go.
Yeah.
That's going to be Ryan Howard next year. I
I
mean,
mean, like I said, Giambi did it for the Indians. I mean, he hit like 10 pinch hit home runs that year for them, and they went to the wild card. Well, they went to the ALCS actually and lost to Boston, but he had a couple clutch hits that drove him over that step. That hey, tie game, go do something, and he smashes it in the right field, just gone.
Weren't you up 3-1 in that series?
Anyways, Peck, what are you talking about? It's the curse of sevens. It's 1997. It's 2007. It's going to be 2017. Yeah. I'm going to hang myself next year.
I was
that and us getting Manny Ramirez.
Don't just stop, please.
I was looking at the Phillies 2008 World Series roster because that's what you look at when you're a Phillies fan. And I'm looking at how that team just wasn't great anywhere. I mean, yeah, our wins leader had like 16 wins, was Jamie Moyer at the age of 45.
Was Halladay still on the team?
We had Flash Gordon in the bullpen, our setup man, setting up Lidge for that one really good year that Brad Lidge had. And Eric Bruntlett was huge. Matt Stairs was huge. It just didn't make any sense.
Doesn't that kind of remind you of the Phillies team with Kruk and Dalton and Dykstra and all them? I mean, they were good, but they weren't like superstars, but they put together a hell of a season.
That's probably a pretty good comparison, to be honest. I mean, Worth was there. I mean, he had that one really good year. Victorino. I mean, you know about Victorino.
What was that before?
Who was that, Armani?
Rollins? Jimmy Rollins?
Yeah, Rollins was there. Utley was there. I think we had Pedro Feliz playing third.
Raul Ibanez.
Joe Blanton was starting for us. J.A. Happ was starting for us.
God, J.A. Happ, holy cow.
That's crazy. Who was your best pitcher? It was Cliff Lee, right?
No, we didn't have Lee.
Yeah, Lee was still in Cleveland.
Was he?
It was
Who
Cole
was your best
Hamels.
pitcher that year?
Hamels.
Hamels, he went in, he won Series MVP, which was pretty cool. After that, Jamie Moyer was our best pitcher.
Jamie Moyer, who also went on to pitch for the Rockies a couple years ago, and still like when he was 42 and still pitching and won almost 1 or 10 games, I think.
He always got
Carlos
crazy.
Colon.
Well, because he wasn't a fastball guy. He screwed you up with sliders and changes up. He didn't blow it by you.
He was a smart pitcher.
He picked his spots. He could throw it, but I mean, it wasn't like no Aroldis Chapman throw a 98 heat in your face.
You know what was
But
cool?
if
We had Moyer out there throwing like his 84-mile-an-hour fastball, and I'm probably being generous. And then we would turn it over to the bullpen, and it was like J.C. Romero and Chad Durbin throwing like 97 right after you got done looking at Moyer's
Just
crawling
meatballs.
fastballs. So it played with the timing a little bit. I think that probably had a lot to do with. It had a lot to do with him hanging on to those leads when he would leave the game with 2 runners on, and the reliever would come in, and the speed change was ridiculous from one to the next.
Who's your favorite Philly of all time?
Of all time, I actually made the thread the other day. Your favorite baseball player that was never great, and I had Mike Lieberthal up there.
Mike Lieberthal.
They played for 1,000,000 years. Was never great. I think he made the All-Star game twice. I don't know. I
Well,
mean,
that's a lot like my pick for the Red Sox. Would be probably Jason Varitek in that same sort of type of question. He was there, but man, he knew how to handle a pitching staff, and when he shoved A-Rod in his friggin' ugly face, that pretty much sealed the deal right there.
He was definitely a catcher. He controlled the pitchers. That's what he did. Like he had some games where he hit, but he was the platoon guy. He was like, hey, you pitch it here, you throw it here. We're gonna get these guys out.
People
a
didn't
quality
shake him off.
pitcher.
He could call a game.
That's the only reason Carlos Ruiz is still in Major League Baseball for us.
It's not for hitting.
Not at all. Nope. He had that one good year when he was on Adderall. He batted 300.
I had a good year on Adderall too.
I cheat the win. Armani, tell us some about Correa and how he's going to be the next Harper or Trout in your eyes.
He might.
Yeah, you made a post about it.
Yeah. I honestly think he could be the best player in the game after this year. But Harper and Trout right now, man, Harper's killing it right now, and Trout, I think he's killing it too. But Trout usually just kills it. But I think Correa has the things. He could be one of the best. I think he could be just as good as Jeter. That's kind of hard to say. Because I love Derek Jeter. What? Just as good as him.
I mean, he definitely has all the tools. He's got the fielding, the hitting, the glove, the arm. He could be the power even. I mean, you saw that homer he crushed in Yankee Stadium. That was destroyed.
He'll have
deep
more
center.
power than Jeter.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Jeter was a 4-tool player. He didn't. I mean, he had hitting. He didn't have the power. And Correa's a second baseman, or
Correa's pretty fast. He's tall too.
and he's only
Is he
23.
handsome, Armani? Tell
Huh?
me. I said, is he handsome, Armani?
What?
Is he beautiful?
And he date the same caliber of women as Derek Jeter did.
Ooh, yeah, that's a tough one.
Puerto Ricans.
You gotta compare the man to Derek Jeter, then you gotta compare his everything. That man had everything except.
He was literally.
But he's
in New
still
York.
Jack 20.
That's true.
So where are we going now?
That's about all I got. Unless you want to throw in some last minute. I threw a couple picks out there for the Pats in the second round since I have a first rounder. Sorry.
Goodell.
And it's not something about a trophy case. Blah blah blah. Okay. Um,
A
in,
camera.
in the second round, I throw out a couple names that I think you guys might go after, Frank. Alex McAllister, defensive end or linebacker out of Florida. Kenneth Dixon from Louisiana Tech. He's a running back. Braxton Miller and Jalen Smith are the names that I think you guys might pull the trigger on in the second round.
I like all those names actually. Braxton Miller was the quarterback in college. Am I correct?
Yes.
He was for 3
Went to
years.
a receiver.
From what I understand, Belichick would actually consider drafting him and actually using him at a different position.
Well, he was
Just
a
based
wide
off.
receiver last year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he did pretty good at wide receiver too.
It's the it's the Edelman path. It seems like. I mean, college quarterback. He moved
From Ohio.
to college still at least. So
Well, he seems to have all the tools, and there's really no better teacher than Belichick, I suppose. When it comes to sort of finding a guy's niche and getting the most out of him. Red Sox win. Sorry.
that sucks. Right?
They won.
Yep, they won 8-7.
I'm behind you. I'm like
They came
second
back.
out.
That was a big win. Sorry, we're talking
I beat
football.
Toronto.
So the Pats, I really hope they go defense, but they definitely need to go offensive line, early. They've got to get some depth offensive line. I don't know who's going to still be available when they're drafting, and who knows? Maybe they went and signed all these guys to trade up. They don't typically trade up, but they also don't typically not have a first-round draft pick either. So, we'll see what happens. You have to believe in the guy that has done what he's done, and I have faith that he's going to do the right thing and draft the right players or make the right trades. We'll see what happens. Definitely need to draft a running back, I think, and to back up. You got Deion Lewis, who knows the guy can't really stay healthy. If he does this
Foster's
stay
still
healthy
available.
all year, then who?
Foster.
Yep. But we kind of have our running backs right now. We're okay, but beyond Deion Lewis and LeGarrette Blount, who I believe is on a 1-year contract, or at least in the at the end of a contract. They're definitely going to need somebody after that. So running back, I'm hoping for defensive end and definitely offensive line. So as long as they kind of cover those areas, I'll feel better. Other than that, though, I mean, my goodness, they have signed just about everybody that's out there. I doubt all these guys are going to make the team, but they have definitely. They went and got Kuhn tonight or today. Who knows if the guy makes the team or not? But like I said, weirder thing. Things that Belichick likes, just weird dudes, and Kuhn's kind of a weird dude to sign. But I'm sure he'll find a use for him. So we'll see what happens. I'm sure the Pats are going to win the freaking AFC East again. I'm sorry, Dolphins fans
And
Yeah,
Bills.
and Bills fans. Jeff Jarisi, is that what it is? I've always thought it was Garise, and then he kind of spelled it out for us today. Is it Jarisi?
Gerasi from the way I read it.
Garasi. God, he sounds like a mafia.
He's from Hoboken. I mean, come on.
We get it, dude. You like the Bills. No, actually, I love the guy, and I'm stoked that he's kind of brought that franchise into the group, and I wouldn't say we've welcomed it with open arms, but at the same time, it's nice to get a new fan base active in the group. Because
I mean,
the
he
Bills
put the
were
ring.
that group, that fan base was dead before he got here.
Yeah, it seems like since he's put the platform out there, a lot of people have stepped up and jumped in. Some guys that have been there, but they went around so much. I guess Jeff takes a lot of the heat that these other guys don't have to. I'm
True.
sure they appreciate it.
A Bills fan. He's been around for a little while, you know. But once Greasy, what is it? Greasy?
Just call him Jeffy
Ross,
G.
I think maybe.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
call him. I'm gonna call him Rex Ryan.
Jeffy G.
Rex Ryan's foot.
But he's already more successful than Rex Ryan.
Oh.
That is true.
We'll see what happens. It's going to be an interesting football season and an interesting draft. And I'm going to plug something right now. That we're going to have a live webcast NFL draft spectacular. I don't know exactly all the players that are going to be involved. I hope you fellas are going to be there.
Yeah, I'm down. I'm down.
All right. We're hoping to be there to give our reactions to the first, maybe, 20 picks, maybe the first round. We'll see how it goes, how much time we have, how cool it is, how much it sucks. We'll see what happens. And
We know Dolphins fans cry about their pick.
yeah, we'll see. You know what? It doesn't matter, man. They still have freaking Tana shithead as a quarterback, and I don't think they're going to go anywhere with him. I'm sorry, Dolphins fans. I love all you guys. And you guys have a lot of talent on the team. You do. But I just don't think this dude is. He doesn't seem like he has control of the huddle. Like he doesn't seem like
I
he's
agree.
that good of a leader. And that locker room has been kind of volatile in his time there, from Bullygate and Philbin, who was a disaster, and he hasn't really gotten a fair shake, I guess you could say, but at the same time he kind of has. He's had a few years now, and this is it, right?
Yeah.
Like if he doesn't do it this year, you might want to think about going in another direction, because he's good, but he's just not good enough. And if you're going to beat Tom Brady and the Patriots, you got to be better than just good.
Yeah, what we're all excited about is the out in his contract for this season. So it's put up or shut up, and we've all kind of come to terms with it. Like, we know they're probably not going to make any kind of first round impact or take any of these guys in the draft this year. We know he's going to get one more year, and if Gage can't fix him, he's gone. And we're all pretty cool with that.
Well, if Gase can't fix him, then nobody can, because this guy has worked
Bruce
wonders with
Arians.
quarterbacks, which is why I'm sure they brought him in to begin with. The Dolphins have invested, a lot in Tannehill, and they've dubbed him as sort of their guy. He just hasn't quite been the guy yet, and Gase, he's worked wonders before, so we'll see what he can do. What if he can turn, what if he finds a flaw in Tannehill's mechanics, or something, and he can turn it around. That would be huge for the Dolphins. They'd actually compete. If Tannehill had a really good Pro Bowl year, they would really compete this year.
I think we have so many question marks on the defense still. I'm not sure we'd hold up even if we did compete. I could see another. If he turns them around, I don't think we will. If he turns them around, I could see another late season collapse, mostly centered around Tannehill.
Poor Dolphins fans, you guys, you're so pessimistic, man. You're all a bunch of Sean Dennisons.
Actually, Sean's probably one of the most optimistic going into this offseason. When everyone else is like, oh, no, Sean's like, no, this is great, guys. This is what we need. And I read his write-ups for FanSided. FanSided, I think that's what it's called. I read all of them, and I can always guess from the title when it's a Sean Dennison's article. There's just something different about it, and I don't know. You can hear his tone with the way he writes. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be another long season, in my opinion. But
Well, I mean, let's stay in the AFC East just for a quick second, and then I want to go, to John, and I want him to talk about the Steelers. Because honestly, as a Patriots fan, the team that I fear the most in the AFC
The Bills.
next year,
Besides the Bills.
for sure, is not the Texans. It is,
Ah,
it is the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are coached well, who have one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, who, if they can stay healthy, has one of the deepest rosters in all of the NFL. Maybe not on the defense so much, but
Yeah.
definitely on the offense. And I'm sure they'll address some defensive issues in the draft. But, in the AFC East, I think who could make a run at the Patriots this year? It seems like every year. Oh, here we go. There we go. Nice. Colin Kaepernick us, folks. Oh man. Oh,
too bad my
bastard.
Texas one doesn't fit.
Hold on. I don't think I put it away, did I? Did I put my Pats? I put my Pats hat away.
good.
Yeah. I mean, I got my lanyard.
I did. Don't ever wear it again.
All right. All right. So anyway, I'm talking about the AFC East and how pretty much every year, as a Patriots fan, you go in expecting, and why wouldn't we, to be the team on top. And you ask yourself, okay, who could make a run at the Pats this year? Could it be the Dolphins? Could it be the Bills? Could it be the Jets? The Jets don't have a quarterback, right? Geno Smith, my goodness, is he the answer? Seriously? I mean, he's their quarterback right now, right?
They can go with Bortles. I mean, no, not Bortles. Bryce Petty.
Everyone's
Oh,
forgotten about Bryce Petty.
Bryce Petty. They'd have better luck signing Tim Tebow. So the Jets are a weird team for me. Like, I liked them last year. I really liked their coach, Bowles. I think he's definitely up the circus that is Rex Ryan. And I like their defense. I don't like it this year as much as last year. Some of these guys are getting up there in age, like Revis and. So I'm not that worried about the Jets. I don't want to say you can't win without a quarterback because the Broncos just won a Super Bowl without a quarterback. But typically, unless you have an elite defense like a Broncos or a 2000 Ravens or whatever it was, you've got to have a guy that can take you to the promised land, and the Jets do not have that. So you go to the Bills. Do they have that? Tyrod Taylor. If you ask Jeff,
Aaron Rodgers.
Tyrod Taylor is the greatest quarterback of all time. Most sane football fans know that that's horseshit. He's good.
He's good, but
I mean, can the guy stay healthy? Is he going to be another one? Is he going to keep running? Because people figure, teams figure that out, and those quarterbacks never ever make it in the NFL. If you cannot be a pocket passer in the NFL, you're not going to make it, man. You're just not. Health-wise, you're not going to make it, and scheme-wise, you're just not going to make it. So, the jury's still out on Tyrod Taylor. And I'm even hearing rumors of trade rumors, maybe to the Broncos.
there goes
But, we'll see. I mean, what would the Bills do without Tyrod Taylor? Who would they go to? So, yeah, they've tried that. I'm not sure he's the answer either, but I'm not that worried about the Bills either. They're coached by that clown Rex Ryan, who just can't seem to ever to get their shit together. And then that leaves the Miami Dolphins, and
The who? I'm sorry,
No,
what
wait,
team
wait,
is that?
wait. Moment
yeah,
of silence. Moment of silence. Go ahead. That was for
okay.
our season.
So that was for 72, right?
That was for this year coming up. Rest in peace.
Oh, okay. All right. That was a prayer. Um, the Miami Dolphins, they've got questions on the defense. You're right. They lost Grimes, and they could use cornerback for sure. There's questions at quarterback with Tannehill, but maybe I think getting Gase is huge. Maybe Tannehill can turn it around. I don't know. I don't know though. They got questions at running back now too. Did they just sign somebody? They signed somebody, right?
They thought about signing C.J. Anderson, but then Denver waited till 30 minutes before the deadline and shit all
That's
over
right.
that.
Okay, and they got him back. But you lost Lamar Miller, right?
I know. You know who we signed? Isaiah Peed and Daniel
Ooh.
Thomas.
Oh, you're all set then. Forget it.
Yeah, awesome.
Where do you think the Dolphins need to go in the draft?
When we brought it up, I'm hoping we go middle linebacker or offensive tackle, whichever the better player is when we get down to 13. And in the second round, do the opposite. If they stray from that, I'm hoping corner is addressed, but my main two are linebacker and tackle.
There's no Zach Thomas or Jason Taylor on that team right now. I mean, they got Ndamukong Suh, who's pretty dominant, but after that, you got
We
Wade
have
Pride.
we have Jelani Jenkins had a real good year 2 years ago. He's got potential, but he needs a great player next to him in order for him to really excel. We had a guy who seemed like a bright spot, Chris McCain, who was bouncing back and forth, but what the hell just happened to him? Anyway, we had a guy, Chris McCain, who was bouncing back and forth between defensive end and outside linebacker. They're going to leave him at defensive end now since Vernon's gone, getting all them buku bucks up in New York. Outside of that, we had an undrafted free agent, Neville Hewitt, and that's probably our best linebacker right now behind him.
Armani, I swear to God.
Mutes it, walks away. Yeah, he's taking out the trash probably.
No, I'm making enchiladas.
Doing chores.
I'm just vacuum here, guys. Don't mind me.
Let me just throw all of my stuff around all at once.
Chopping down a tree, don't worry, I'll shut my chainsaw off soon.
At 10 o'clock at night.
Guys, you mind if I play with some
Sorry,
tinfoil while we're doing this?
I'm just gonna be busy throwing these tacks on balloons.
Guys, listen to how many marbles I fit in this tin can.
Hey guys, I can.
If I shake this, can you guess how many marbles are in the tin can?
48.
I bought this rainmaker at the Discovery store. Check it out.
Oh man, we love you, Armani.
I'm gonna go yell into the echo chamber that is the Texans trophy case.
I heard Texans. What's up?
All right, I want to ask Armani a question. Armani, you listening, buddy?
As I'm making my enchiladas, yes.
Of course
Oh,
he's making
man.
enchiladas.
It's 10 o'clock at night. What the hell?
Of course you're making enchiladas. All right,
He
listen.
can't even ask the question.
Okay, here's.
Hey, Hey, so my phone kind of crapped out. What topic are we on?
I have no
right.
idea. Enchiladas, go.
I see that we're still live.
We are live. All right, listen, Armani, I wanna talk Texans because honestly, the Texans have a fantastic defense. They've got some weapons. I mean, you lost Foster, right? You're not, he's off the team now.
Yeah.
And so who takes over for running back now? And how much faith do you honestly have in Brock Osweiler?
More faith than Jeff has in Tyrod.
Whoa.
Wow.
That's so pretty much you're saying that Brock Osweiler is the greatest quarterback of all time.
Well, since
No.
Tyrod Taylor.
He's going to write another Bible, and it's going to be a new religion called Brockism.
We will Brock you.
Brock the Casbah.
Who did he's got Hopkins. Who else does he have to throw to right now?
Lamar Miller.
Short.
They did get Lamar Miller, didn't they?
Yeah.
They did.
That's a pretty good signing. I got to be honest. I mean, Foster was a beast, but he could never stay healthy. Oh man, he was so good when he
I'm
was.
pretty
like,
sure his
healthy.
hamstrings have a endorsement deal from Kleenex.
But yeah, I don't know. The Texans could be good if they could get that offense firing on all cylinders, because the defense will be pretty good. But I don't know, man. I want to go over to John now, talk some Steelers football, because if there's one team in the AFC that I respect more than probably any other team in the AFC, it's the Pittsburgh Steelers. Even though the Pats really have had sort of their way with Pittsburgh over the years, more often than not. But I'm not really trying to rub it in. What I'm saying is I do respect the Steelers organization. They always, maybe a little, but they always seem to compete. They seem to be the only other team in the AFC that competes every year, kind of like the Patriots do. It's certainly not the Dolphins. So, John, give me a forecast on 2016. Tell me who they need to draft, what spots they need to draft, and how far you think this team is going to go next year.
Well, I mean, offensively, Ben Roethlisberger, if he stays healthy again, is going to be top 3 quarterback. Antonio Brown, shut your mouth.
What is this, 2007?
Hey, look what he did 2 years ago. He led the league in passing yards 2 years ago.
How many catches will Martavis Bryant have?
Will he catch more than he drops?
The blunt.
Hey,
Suspended for the year. He's not catching nothing.
yeah.
He's on the
Oh, yeah, true.
He's catching a buzz.
He's catching a case.
But hey, Martavis Bryant's going to catch more than Lima Swede did 10 years ago, so whatever. Lima Swede couldn't catch a fucking cold. Yes. I hold a grudge over that man, because that man, every single time Roethlisberger threw a deep ball to him, I saw Swede was on the receiving end. I'm like, oh, it's a drop. Whatever.
Hey, remember when you had Cordell Stewart?
Yes, I do. That was actually my first jersey I got
love
as a
Cordell.
kid.
Really?
My number 10 Cordell Stewart jersey. I had that until I got fat.
Yeah, fat Cordell. Now he's on like the Real Housewives. My wife was watching this freaking show that I can't stand, and I'm freaking.
Nice save.
One of those.
Nice save, Frank.
He's married to one of them. I lost all respect.
Hey, you know what? He was the well. I mean, I'm not gonna say the first original running quarterback. Obviously, many before Cunningham. Moon. Yeah, Cunningham, Warren Moon, stuff like that. But he brought it back.
Warren Moon was just black. I don't think he really ran that much.
That's really true.
We can be honest, right?
Good. So back to the Steelers. On offense, the number one problem remains offensive line. It's going to remain the offensive line until the end of time, until I die, until anybody on this earth dies. The Steelers will never have a consistent offensive line.
Why don't they just move Brett Kiesel to offensive line? He's mean enough.
Because Brett Kiesel retired, that's why.
Oh,
He
that
retired 2
makes
years
more
ago.
sense.
He had a sweet beard though.
And
He does.
he retired 2 years ago, and he still is the meanest Steeler on the roster.
No, that's James Harrison. That dude, I would be scared to shake James Harrison's hand. That dude is
I
39 years old.
forget which AFC North team James Harrison is on this year. So
He only played for the Bengals for not even a season, and then
he played for the Ravens,
no, he didn't.
didn't he?
No, he got signed by the Bengals, played with them for barely a season, retired. Well, he signed like a contract with the Steelers, retired, and then when Jason Worlds went down, and I want to say Lamar Woodley got hurt, he signed with the Steelers for the end of the season, and went back, and now he's still on the team. He's definitely not gonna play every snap. He's not an everyday linebacker, but he bench presses ridiculous amounts of weight. He works out all the time.
Does he have awesome pecs, John?
He does. I follow him on Instagram, and every single day he's sitting there benching 290 pounds. Everything.
You know what seems to be the big thing? The box jump. Isn't that like the new thing? Like all these videos like of these athletes.
I think that was a couple years ago. That whole fad.
I missed when they were jumping out of pools.
Yeah, jumping out of pools was cool.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
That was cool. But offensive line, I mean, for some reason we have a 6'8" guard who has no agility whatsoever. He stands up, and the defensive lineman's already 6 feet behind him. Freaking, what is it, Vasquez? I don't even remember his name. Dude was No, he was. Matt Vasquez doesn't have a job at KFC. This guy actually has an NFL team.
Yo. Who am I?
I don't know, dude, because that brim is way too curved to be Matt Vasquez.
Yeah, dude, that's not a St. Louis hat that you switch to KFC.
That's a
when you go to the World
Baltimore
Series.
brim. And I'm not even
But,
from Boston. I'm from Cape Cod.
Offensive line.
I pretend I'm from Boston.
Cape Cod.
Yes, sir.
Obviously, else we need is the defense, defensive backs. D-line, we're okay. Cam Hayward, if he stays healthy, he's good. I don't even remember who our defensive tackle is anymore since Casey Hampton retired. Offensive line's still okay. Linebackers, I mean, Ryan Shazier stepped up. I mean,
there's Matt Vasquez. Still too curved.
Is that
Where's the sticker?
I was waiting. I dropped the subtle like nice flat brim peg.
Is that a Rutgers hat, like for real?
I don't know.
I thought that was a Rutgers hat.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know. That's criminal. Please tell me you didn't have to pay for that. I really hope Rutgers doesn't make people pay for their merchandise.
It came in cereal.
And not even like brand name cereal. It's in the bag cereal.
Yeah.
Like the Malto meal.
The stuff that just comes in the bag. There's no box.
The bottom shelf. Bottom shelf cereal.
Fruity-O's.
Yep.
It's edible and it tastes like fruit and it's shaped like a circle.
Right? It's a 3-pack. You get a Rutgers hat, a Phillies hat,
And
and a Dolphins hat.
Mom, I want Fruit Loops. Shut up, it's the
There's
same thing.
People who bought bag cereal for their kids also bought their kids Duplo blocks instead of Legos.
There's an STD named after Rutgers University. If you ever have, I won't say the name.
Scarlet Night Fever.
Yeah, Scarlet Fever is actually what it's called.
That's
Well, there was
I
this
never heard
time
that
in
fact.
college, guys, where
the first time only time I've ever went skinny dipping was at Rutgers.
Did you get Scarlet Fever?
No.
does it itch?
Texas A&M blanket. What? Do you have Marmani sleeping over?
Oh man, I wish,
I'm not here to add anything of worth. I'm just here to be savage once in a while.
what is this webcast rated? Have we decided yet?
I'm pretty sure it's just off the rail right now. There's no rating.
No, I mean like.
New hat.
What is that hat? Is that an Eagles
Boston
hat?
College.
What the?
Is that Boston College?
Oh yeah. Final Four.
God.
We lost.
The only thing I like about Boston College is that they used to routinely beat Notre Dame in football,
They did.
Yeah,
They played
they
them
owned
close
it
this
for
year.
a couple years.
and it led to one of my favorite commercials on YouTube of all time. It's the Bud Light Real Men of Genius, and it's and the Real Men of Genius
those are
was
great.
here's to you, the overrated Notre Dame fan, and they're like, go ahead and try to explain yet another home loss to Boston College, and like the background sing. Yep, exactly. The background guy. BC's got better Christians.
I'll tell you what, though, man, they produced some quarterbacks. They've Flutie and Matt Ryan and
And
let's not
that's
forget.
Is that the end of the list?
That's about it,
all,
guys.
all two of them.
Two is not a long list.
I said some.
And can you really include Flutie on there? I mean, really, what did he do?
Oh, come on, he had the greatest
Can you even?
college pass of all time.
Yeah, but
Well,
what
I
did he do?
suppose Boston College has
Flutie.
more quality
Flutie.
quarterbacks than New England has Super Bowl winning quarterbacks.
Doug
All right.
Flutie
Yeah.
is on Dancing
Okay.
with the Stars, guys.
Gotcha,
Doug
yeah.
Flutie, Dancing with the Stars.
Doug Flutie was also on the Patriots, so he's still.
Oh, yeah. So that just makes
Yeah.
him, like, number
Yeah.
I think he
three
was
all
on the
time.
Bills.
He made a drop
He's
kick.
a hometown hero.
Yeah, he is in the NFL
Do
record
you
book.
remember
making the
that?
drop
That was
kick extra point.
fantastic.
Yeah, that drop kick was awesome, actually.
That was awesome.
It's
That was
Belichick
kind of
pulling a
Bill
rule out of the rule
Belichick
book that
flexing his
no
dick
one's
muscle.
seen since 1904.
Right?
I mean, they saw Flutie in the backfield. They're like, "What the hell is going on here?" And then he kicks it. They're like, "That has to be illegal. Like, you can't do that. Like, that's not right."
You know who the biggest BC draft bust of all time is, though? William Green.
The
Remember
running
him?
back.
Yep, remember him?
Well, he went to the
Pretty sure
Browns, so
Well, yep, there's the first problem.
You know who my favorite BC Eagle is?
Who?
BJ Raji. I miss him.
Already.
Yeah,
Even though he was a huge dick. He was a
lives like
huge
25
dick
minutes away.
bar in Green Bay like 2 seasons ago.
Is there anybody here that's not a fan of BJ?
Ha! Armani's never met BJ yet.
Riley come back, or not Riley. Armani come back in 3 years.
Still figuring out where the hell
Anyway.
he got that Texas A&M thing at.
Put some Vaseline on a vacuum.
Go watch American Pie 1. And you'll get some ideas.
God, I remember when there only was one Armani. You're so young.
God, I remember
gotta-
it came out.
Sometimes I forget. Armani, how long have you been in the group?
Probably like about a year and a half.
So shit, dude, you were like 13 when you joined the group.
Somewhere around that.
Let's talk about the fact that Nicholas Santeri added Armani's mom to Sports Talk a while back.
No way.
You didn't know this, Frank? Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I didn't know this.
Armani's mom's in.
It was
Every time
the second
Armani
weirdest
swears,
thing
we
since
threaten
that
to
friend
tag his mom.
requested it.
Holy smokes.
Nah, I'm gonna
Well,
put
you know
something
what?
out there. Frank.
What the fuck is that, Peck?
Justin
I
Timberlake.
assumed. Actually, you just proved a theory for me, Peck. I assumed when you put a hat like that on, all the face moved from your chin to your neck, and you didn't. So
He's announcing that he's the new lead singer of Blues Traveler.
Yeah, can you sing "Run Around" for me real quick? Can you give me a quick bar? Can you play the harmonica?
Oh man. I saw them live. They weren't
Frank,
bad, actually.
I was going to mention to you. I'm friends with like 1 million people from Sports Talk on Facebook, except for Nick. We're in like a stalemate, I think. Where
he's trying so hard. He's having a standoff.
You're not friends with Nick on Facebook?
No,
Nick won't friend request him.
I've been waiting for so long, and it's
Dude, I'm friends with Michael Santeri, and he hates me.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, I've been friends with I
Well-
talked to Michael on there today about movie
I'm friends
quotes.
with Michael.
My cousin Benny.
Yeah, I can talk to Michael about anything. I've obviously I've hung out with Michael. He's a great guy. The only thing Michael and I shouldn't talk about is politics.
I watched that blow up. That was fun on Nicholas's
Oh,
page.
there's been.
I'm sorry, Pick. You had to be there.
Oh, got him.
No,
There's been many, but I love the guy.
it was an atomic blow up, dude. I think Nick had something about Trump, and like Frank made just like one little like jab comment, and Mike came in, and like I look away, I turned off notifications because I knew it was gonna blow up. I checked back like an hour later, and they're up to like 300 comments.
Speaking of turning off notifications, I'm going to go offline now.
No, okay. Hey, rule number 1 of sports talk: we don't talk politics.
Exactly. So join us on our next one. We're probably going to keep hanging out in here and say stuff that you guys can't see, but
This is the director's cut that you get to watch.
Fucking cut.
This is sports talk.